Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a real quick video. I needed to get a tutorial out and I don't have any projects ready because I didn't crochet as much as I thought I would on vacation. So I thought I am going to show this little stitch tutorial that I kind of came up with, but then kind of didn't. Anyway, so it's a super easy pattern. This is a horizontal cluster is what I call this pattern. It consists of 3 double crochet decrease with a horizontal cluster, and it kind of makes, I don't know if you would call a T or call it a cross or an X, but it creates this really pretty pattern down the center, or across the center I should say. This is down, this is across. Anyway, so what this is a 4-row repeat. 2 of those 4 rows are just rows of single crochet, and what we have a 2 double crochet cluster and then a double crochet decrease over 3 stitches. So it's a 3 double crochet decrease, cluster, decrease, cluster, decrease, cluster, decrease, and then we work the 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double, 1, chain 1, 3 double, all the way across, 2 rows of single. Super easy. So the stitch pattern, or the chain multiple I should say, I'm sorry, is a multiple, or is any multiple of 4 plus 2. So 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 plus 2. So for this little swatch, I worked a chain of 22, so that's 5 multiples of 4. So 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and then I added 2. So any multiple of 4 and then add your 2, okay? And like I said, it's a 4-row repeat, although 2 of those 4 rows are just single crochets, so they're really quick. So you guys can use this pattern for anything that your little heart desires. You can, I honestly, and I say this in the tutorial, I thought about working this as a baby blanket, but working the 2 rows of single crochets. So like this is what instantly comes to my mind. 2 rows of white single crochet and then a really pretty vibrant, like my crochet hook, a really pretty vibrant blue for these 2 rows. So like this decrease and this cluster is 1 row. So this is 1 row. This is the next row. So if you worked 2 rows of white single crochet and then all these 2 rows in blue, white, blue, white, blue, that would be really pretty. But anyway, you can make a kitchen set out of this, a scarf. I bet you could come up with a hat. Anyway, so get you any yarn you want to use. Like for this sample, I just used Hirschner's cotton because it was sitting next to me, and I just grabbed a 5mm hook and went with it. But you can use any yarn you want to use, and then you just use the hook that you want or that your yarn recommends, whatever you want to do. This is for you to do what you will with. Alright, and before we do get started, I do want to apologize for the air conditioner running. It is hotter than blitzing outside and I'm not shutting it off. And I have tried to film this tutorial. This I'm done right now. This was the 4th attempt at trying to film this because every person and 4-legged creature in this house has pestered me and bugged me in the middle of trying to film this. And I finally got it done. So, without further ado, get your supplies together and let's get started. Alright, so once you have your length of chain worked, we're going to start row 1 by working a single crochet into the 2nd chain from hook. So right there, that's not our 2nd chain. Right there, that's our 2nd chain. We're going to single crochet right into there and then single into each of the remaining chains. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera so you guys don't have to watch me work these single crochets. And I'm actually going to back up my camera just a little bit. I feel like I got you guys a little too close. Sounds like somebody's fighting with our basement door. Alright, so I will be right back. Alright, that's better. Okay, so I've single crocheted all the way down this chain. I've got one more here at the end to work, right into that last chain. So I'm going to single crochet right into there. And that's the end of row 1. So now you should have one less single crochet than your beginning chain. So for example, I chained 22, multiple of 4, 4, 4, 4, plus 2, and single crochet into the second chain from hook, so I should have 21 single crochet. Alright, so let's say you chained 18. Single crochet in the second chain from hook, so you should only have 17 single crochets. Okay? So once you get done with row 1, we are going to chain 1 and turn. And for row 2, we're going to single crochet into that very first single, and then single crochet into each of the singles all the way across our work. So once again, I'm not going to make you watch me do all these singles, so go ahead and get your row 2 done, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I single crocheted all the way down. I've got 2 more to work into. There's my second to last single. And my very last single, if you turn your work just a tad, you can see the top of it right there. So go right in there with my very last single. Alright, so that is the end of row 2. So we're going to start the very first row of our 4-row repeat. Trying to get comfortable here without bumping anything. Alright, so for row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to work a double crochet into that very first single. So right there, you see that very first hole? That's our single. So we're going to double crochet into there, and then we're going to double crochet into our very next single. Okay, so I want to kind of explain what we're going to do before we do it. We are going to start our horizontal clusters and the decrease. So what we're doing, we just worked our first 2 doubles. Now we're going to work that horizontal cluster into the top of that double that we just worked, that very last double we worked, and then we work the decrease, and then after that each of the horizontal clusters is worked into the top of the decrease. So just this first cluster is the only one that's worked into the top of the double, okay? Alright, so for our cluster, we are working a 2 double crochet cluster. So basically what that means is that we are going to start 2 double crochets into 1 stitch for the cluster. However, we are going to be working into the top of this double crochet. Oops, I did not mean to do that. So we are going to be working right under, get out of there, right under the 2 loops of that last double that we just worked. But you know, like when you work a normal stitch into the top of a double, you look for your 2 loops at the top of your double, and that's what you work under. You know, or yeah, you insert your hook, work your stitch, you know, under those loops. But for this cluster, we're going to be working under those loops. We're just coming in from the side. So what we're going to do is chain 3, rotate your work just a tad. Just rotate it to the side just a tad. Yarn over, find the 2 loops at the top of that double, which is right there, and we're going to come in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go right back in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, and that is our 2 double crochet cluster. And you know it's a 2 double crochet cluster because we worked the 2 double into it. Now you can see how we worked into the top of that double crochet. We just worked it from the side. Okay, so now we're going to work the decrease, skip the next single crochet, and we're going to work the decrease over the next 3 singles. So yarn over, make sure you skip that next single, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next single, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into that next single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. And that's your 3 double crochet decrease. Alright, so now we're going to start our cluster again. Chain 3, rotate your work just a tad. Now we're going to find the top of that decrease, and if you look, I can use my pen. If you look, what we're looking at right here, that hole right there, that is our first chain, second chain, third chain, okay? But if you hold your work, and right here, these 2 loops, front and back, that is the top of our decrease, right there. So right here, this bigger one, right there, that's the top of our cluster. The 2 double crochet cluster we worked, right here. It's kind of hidden basically between that very first chain we worked and the cluster. So it's like this, if you hold your work and you look at the top, it's pretty much the smallest one, right? Or the flat one. You can say the flat one because this one comes in this way and then that chain 1 comes up. So if you hold it this way, it's the flat one, right? And if you hold it this way and look, it's the little triangle right there. But what we're going to do is work the 2 double crochet cluster into the top of that decrease. So we yarn over, find the top of your decrease, go right in there, grab your yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go right back in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's your 2 double crochet cluster. Alright, so for the repeat across your row, skip the next single, decrease over the next 3. So we yarn over, go into that next single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into that next single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into your next single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. So the repeat is skip, well actually I should come over here, the repeat for your row 3, skip, 3 double crochet decrease, 2 double crochet cluster. So for the rest of the pattern, I'm just going to refer to this as a cluster because I don't want you to get confused between the cluster and the decrease, okay? So the repeat is skip, 3 double crochet decrease, cluster into the top of that decrease. Skip the next single, 3 double crochet decrease, cluster into the top of that decrease. So the cluster again is 1, 2, 3. Rotate your work just a tad. Find the top of that decrease, which is, like I said earlier, the flat one. See, the top of the cluster comes down this way. We have a flat top of the decrease, and then the chain comes up this way. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go in again, same spot, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Repeat that again. Skip the next single, decrease over the next 3 single, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, one more time, yarn over, go into the next single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. I have a knot. And work your cluster into the top of that decrease. 1, 2, 3, rotate just a tad, yarn over, find the top of that decrease, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, and start to repeat over again. I need to pause this because church is trying to be a pain. Okay, so you repeat all the way across, skip, decrease, cluster, skip, decrease over 3, cluster, skip, decrease over 3, cluster. Work that all the way across until you get to the last 3 single crochets, which I am not there, so I'm going to go ahead and keep working my repeat, which is skip, decrease over the next 3, in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, sorry about that. Church, that cat, I swear, when he hears me talking, he automatically comes barreling up here and just jumps and knocks over anything he can come across just to get in front of the camera, and then he leaves cat hair everywhere, and his back claws leave holes, like right here you can see, leaves holes in my little counter tabletop. Ugh. Alright, so pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. What am I working on? Okay, my decrease. Yarn over, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. And once you work that last decrease and you have your 3 single crochets left, we're gonna finish off by working our cluster. So chain 3, rotate your work a tad into the top of that decrease, work your cluster, 1, and pull up, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, skip the third from last single, double into the second to last single, double into the last single. And that is the end of row 3, and that's the first row of our 4-row repeat. So we have row 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what you're going to repeat. So that was row 3. So to move on to row 4, chain 1 and turn, and we're going to double crochet into that very first double. I'll go ahead and double crochet into that very next double, which already has that cluster coming from it, right? So there's actually 2 stitches worked into that double. Alright, so anyway, chain 1, and now what we're going to do, if you hold your work out, do you see, let me get this to lay out like this, do you see the hole there, 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 and there? That is the hole, well, not that one. 1, 2, that is the hole at the top of the 3 double crochet decrease. Here, 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 and here. The hole right there is actually the top of that double. But anyway, what we are going to do is work 3 double crochet into the top of the decrease. And the reason I show you the holes is because that is where we're going to work the 3 double crochet. That's the top of the decrease. The reason the hole is so big is because that's where the cluster is coming from, right? So if you look at your work and you're having a hard time finding it, follow the legs of your cluster. So right here, these legs, follow those legs to the hole, and that's the top of the decrease where you're going to work the 3 double crochet. Alright, so we doubled into the first, doubled into the second, chain 1, and then we're going to come right over and work 3 double crochet into that hole. Now as I'm working the double crochet, I'm making sure the strands of my doubles are between this cluster and this cluster. So basically what I'm saying is I don't want this the legs of this double crochet to be on top of this cluster, right? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so that's the repeat for row 4. Chain 1, 3 double into the top of the decrease. Chain 1, 3 double into the top of the decrease. So what I was talking about was that I want to make sure my strands stay right in this area, not on top of here or on top of here. So what I'm talking about is if you just go in there and don't pay attention to what you're doing, what it's going to do is work the double crochet over the legs, which it kind of looks funny. So if you kind of pull it apart right there, now those legs are nice and pretty between the 2 clusters. Okay, so that's 2. I need 1 more in there. Okay, so chain 1, 3 double crochet into the top of the decrease. Go in there. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the top of the next decrease, and you repeat that all across your row or your work until you get to the end. And then what we're going to do is work a double into the last, a little ball on my yarn right there, into the last 2 double. The second to last double already has that cluster coming from it, so it's got a pretty big hole so you can see it. We're just going to work 1 double into there and double into the very last double. And that is row 4. And that's what gives us that, I don't know if you'd want to call it an X or a cross or a T or what you want to call it, but the shape or the design it makes, I don't know. I see a square. My eyes go to the holes. But But anyway, so that is the end of row 4, and that's the second row of your 4-row repeat. And for the next row, we're going to chain 1 and turn, single crochet into that very first double, single into the next double, and of course there's a church hare. Alright, single. This is why I can't stand it when he gets up here. Okay, single into that chain 1 space, and single into each double and each chain 1 space all across. So you should be back at the single crochet count that's 1 less than your beginning chain. So like I said at the beginning that I chained 22, so my single crochet count should be 21. So single, single, all the way across. I'm going to go ahead and work this off camera real quick. So you single into each double and into each chain 1. And do be careful, don't work those single crochets too tight or your work's going to start to bunch. Just stay nice and not loose, but I mean nice and consistent. Single crochet all the way across into your last 2 double crochets, chain 1 and turn. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, that was row 5. And row 6, we're going to single into that very first single and then single into each single crochet across. And that is your 4-row repeat. So yeah, it sounds like a lot of rows to some people. I know some people would be like, 4-row repeat, no thanks. But 2 of the 4 rows are only just single crochets, so you can work through them really quick. Like I am off camera right now. I'm trying to whip through these real fast. Single crochet all the way across. And one more. There. Alright, single into that last single. Chain 1, turn. Repeat row 3, 4, 5, and 6. So just rewind the video and I'll give you a real quick rundown. So row 3, you chain 1 and turn. It'll be facing this way. You work row 3, double into the first 2, work your 2 double crochet cluster, skip 1 single, 3 double crochet decrease. Cluster into the top of that decrease, skip the single, 3 double crochet decrease. Cluster into the top of that decrease, skip the next single, work that across, chain 1, turn, double into the first 2 double, chain 1, 3 double into the top of that decrease, just look for that hole. Chain 1, 3 double into the top of that decrease, just look for the hole. Chain 1, work that all across, chain 1, turn, double or single into the first 2 double, single into each chain 1 space and into each double all the way across, chain 1, turn, single crochet all the way across your singles. And that is how you create this pretty design. Alright, so like I said in the intro, this is just something I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to get a quick tutorial out because I don't have any of my projects ready, because I thought while I was on vacation I could most definitely get all of this crocheting done that I wanted to get done, and of course I was wrong. So I do not have a project ready, and I thought, you know what, a quick tutorial would be this stitch pattern that I've come up, well, I kind of didn't come up with. I'm weaving in my ends real quick. But yeah, you guys can use this stitch pattern for a lot of different things. I thought, how cool would it be to do a baby blanket or a lapgan or an Afghan, whatever you want, and work the single crochet rows, one color, and then the cluster and the 3 double crochet row, so this a different color, and that would just make it really pop. But that would be cute. Or you could do a kitchen, you know, a dish towel wash rag set, or just a wash rag set for the bathroom. You could do 100 different things with this stitch pattern. And since you are still with me, I'm going to show you something that I kind of whipped together. I didn't even write down the pattern. I just sat here and I was like, oh, okay, you do this, 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 and that comes up with this. Using this stitch pattern, I started to design a shawl. I don't know if this is, I don't think this is going to be my final, you know, this is how you do it, because not coming out right, but I got an idea of how to make this into a shawl. We will see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you come up with 100 different ideas you could do with this stitch pattern, and check out my description box. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.